Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Krystle, just in case you are new here, and today I have an April TBR for you guys. Normally I don't do monthly TBRs. I've been just kind of doing like seasonal TBRs, but I haven't been doing much reading in the last 3 months, so I just want to like kind of take it month by month for now. In case you didn't know, I'm getting married in August. I just bought a house with my fiance, so we've been just kind of like going a little crazy to be honest. So it's been really hard for me to read. I've been slowly reading, but not at the pace that I normally read at, and it's a little upsetting for me. But I do have a lot of books here that I'd like to focus on in the month of April, and this is tentative. It could change. My mood has been all over the place. I've been reading romance, I've been reading fantasy, I've been reading horror, and just kind of making a loop-de-loop kind of. I've been finding a lot of comfort in reading Colleen Hoover books and more on the romance side, light and fluffy. I started watching Bridgerton, and it's like weird for me to wrap my head around that someone who loves fantasy and loves horror is getting into these like mushy-gushy rom-coms, but I guess we all change eventually, right? So today my TBR consists of pretty much all 3 genres, and yeah, I'd like to share them with you. So we're gonna start with a few books that I'm currently in the middle of that I'm carrying over from the month of March over into the month of April. And the first one I have here is The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. This has been a series that I have been wanting to get into for many years, and I just kept avoiding it. I was a huge fan of the movies growing up, and I never felt like the need to get into the series per se, but now I think it's time for me to get into The Lord of the Rings. I do really enjoy it. I love it as, you know, the movie franchise, but I would like to see my view on the book. So far, I'm about halfway through The Hobbit, and I'm really loving this book so much. It's also the perfect book to read during the spring. So if you're looking for a springtime read that is fantasy and heavy on like just like springtime things like greens and plants growing and magic and just coming to life, basically, I would pick up The Hobbit. It's just so cute and amazing, and I can't wait to get further into the series. The next, I've been reading The Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb, which I'm about like a quarter of the way through. Really enjoying the series as well, and I'm so happy that I finally picked it up. I've been really going back and forth with starting the series for a really long time, but I've just been seeing everybody that I watch on YouTube and booktube pick this series up, so I really need to know what's going on. Becca and Ashley and a couple of the other booktubers that I follow do the Elderling read-along, and I've been wanting to catch up with them, but they're so far ahead that I can't catch up. But I'm very excited to get into this more. I'm really loving what I'm seeing so far, so hopefully that continues. And this is a politically driven fantasy, but it's very character driven as well, and I could tell already how everyone falls in love with the characters. I could just see it happening. I'm already in love with a few of the characters, and I want to know more about them, so I'm curious to see where this world takes me. And I love dragons, and I love the fact that it has to do with like the seas, and it's just a totally different type of fantasy series that I've ever read. So, and it's different than any other fantasy series that I've ever read. Wow. But that's what's making me love it that much more, and that's what's making me more interested in it, because I haven't read anything similar to this. The next, I'm still in the middle of this big chunker, Wizard and Glass by Stephen King. I'm about halfway through now, and I really am enjoying the series a lot. I want to get this done before Fairy Tale comes out, because I feel like Fairy Tale is going to be tying in a lot of Stephen King's books, and especially The Dark Tower and probably The Talisman as well. So I'm hoping to pick up The Talisman after I finish the series, and hopefully I finish the series by like midsummer, July, in order for me to be all caught up for September, because the wedding is in August and I'll be very busy. I have here one of our book club picks for the Horror in 24 book club for April, and we are reading Flowers in the Attic by V.C. Andrews, which this is amazing. I'm so excited to read this book. I read this book I think when I was 12 or 13, way back in the day, so I'm very excited to revisit this and read it from an adult perspective, an adult point of view. I did see like parts of the adaptation on Lifetime and I was just not thrilled, so I didn't continue to watch it. So I'm really curious to see like how my adult brain views this book. But V.C. Andrews, in case you didn't know, she was a very popular author back in like the late 80s, early 90s, and a lot of her works had to do with like incest and very uncomfortable topics. And I would say she fits into the horror genre for sure. So if you are interested in reading any of V.C. Andrews' books, don't let the covers fool you. There are a lot of trigger warnings in these books, so make sure you look them up ahead of time, because they do deal with very, very dark subject matter, and you do follow very young characters for that as well. But yeah, I really love V.C. Andrews' writings. I read a lot of books by her growing up, and probably why my brain like went towards the horror genre as an adult, and how I, you know, kind of fell into Stephen King and things like that, was because this was my intro, besides Goosebumps, into the horror genre. So I'm very excited to be hosting this book for Horror in 24. So if you are interested in reading along with us, all the details for the Horror in 24 book club are down below. And I just want to say welcome to all new members of Horror in 24. I noticed on the Instagram we have a lot of new followers, so I just want to say welcome to our book club, and we will be having a live show discussion for this at the end of the month. And the next book that I have here is A Touch of Malice. This is the second book in the Hades Persephone like series by Scarlett St. Clair. I have to look at her name because I keep messing up her name. This is the second book of the series, and I read the first book last month and I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. It's a little corny, but who doesn't like a little corny romance every once in a while? I felt like there was a lot of issues too with the book, but that's for like another discussion. But overall, I really enjoyed it. I gave it a 4.5 stars. Can't wait to get back into the series this month, because I think this one is going to be a lot more developed than the first book was. Next, I have a whimsical book, and that is The Wisteria Society of Lady Scoundrels, and this is by India Holton. I'm very curious about this story because it does take place in like the Regency period, I want to say, or Victorian period, and it just sounds like a funny, lighthearted romance, but also with like a badass woman. Another book came out in the series, I think it's like The Gentleman Witches or something like that. So I wanted to read this first and then read this. They're not like, you don't have to read this first and that second, but I started reading the second one and it mentioned the Wisteria Society, so then I put it down and I was like, I just want to know a little bit about this first book before I dive into the second book. But they are written as standalones if you're interested. But yeah, I thought this would be a fun spring book that I can just kind of breeze right through. And then I have a Colleen Hoover, and that is Verity. This is a like romance thriller, very popular, very polarizing, so I'm curious to see my opinion on this. I heard the twist is out of this world if you like it. People love the twist, people don't love the twist. We shall see where I fall on that line, and I'm very excited to pick this up. Also, don't really know much about it, and I don't think I really want to know much more about it until I read it. Next, I have another popular booktube, booktok book, and that is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I read Circe 2 years ago. Love that book so much. I still think about it to this day. I just love Circe as a goddess. I really resonate with Circe, so gotta pick this up. Madeline Miller really writes beautiful retellings, and I could just tell by how she wrote Circe that I'm gonna really love this. And this is a beloved book for a lot of people. A lot of tears have been shed and I want to see my opinion on this book as well. And I think she may be coming out with another book, or she came out with like a novella, but I'm sure she's in the process of writing another book as well, which I'd be really happy to get my hands on. And then finally, a book that I'd like to get to, but it's a book that I can only read by itself, so that's why I haven't really picked it up yet, and that is House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas. I love Sarah J. Maas. I love this series, but I've been in the middle of way too many books and I've been way too moody of a reader to pick this up, because once I pick it up, I don't want to have that feeling of wanting to try something else in between. So yeah, I'm gonna try to get a lot of these out of the way first, but if I do pick this up, you know, I'm not gonna be reading anything else. But this is on my April TBR for sure. I'm gonna at least pick it up towards the end of the month and read it into May, at least, hopefully. As of right now, that's pretty much it for the physical books for my TBR. I have a few ebooks that are downloaded on my Kindle that I've been kind of reading and going back and forth with, so I'll read them to you now. I have downloaded, Kindle Unlimited just has so many free books, and I've been not wanting to purchase a lot of books lately. So I have downloaded Falls Boys by Penelope Douglas, who I love so much. I love her writing, and I can't wait to get into that one. The steamy scenes are very similar to Punk 57, so very excited. Also have Lessons in Corruption by Gianna Darling, which is a motorcycle romance series that I am actually really enjoying as well. So I'm going to finish Lessons in Corruption hopefully by this month. It's a really quick read, but I've been just kind of, it's been my book that I read before I go to sleep, you know, so I've been getting into that series, and I love Sons of Anarchy as a TV show, so this is kind of giving me those vibes, and I dig it. Also, I just really like the writing. I don't know, the writing is really good. It's easy and it's fun. And I also have This Might Hurt, and this is by Stephanie Roble, and this is a thriller, suspense, psychological thriller. I don't know if it's horror, but it's kind of like, I don't even know. Is it cultish, kind of like it's about a cult? I don't really know, but I've heard great things about it, and so I downloaded it on my Kindle, and hopefully I will get to that this month as well. So that is it. That is all I have for you today for my April TBR. Like I said, at the end of the month, things might change and I might pick up some other books, but these are definitely the books that I'd like to get to this month without question. They've been sitting on my TBRs for a while, some of them, and it's time. So let me know in the comments down below what you have decided to read this month. Let me know if you're going to be joining us in the Horror in 24 book club for Flowers in the Attic by VC Andrews. So on that note, if you like this video and you want to see more videos from me in the future, make sure you like and subscribe down below. All of my links to my social media accounts are down below as well, and I will be talking to all of you guys soon. Bye!